Valkyria is another one of the division's named high-end weapons. Recently added in the 1.1 April update, it falls under the submachine gun category and is therefore intended for use at close to medium ranges. In-game, this weapon is based on the SMG-9, which is obtainable as an unnamed variant. However, the real-world equivalent of this gun is the Tech-9, which is a blowback-operated semi-automatic pistol designed by Intratec, who are an American offshoot of the Swedish company Interdynamic AB, who developed the Interdynamic MP9, which is what the Tech-9 was based on. As with all named high-end weapons, the Valkyria not only comes with a fixed set of talents, but it also comes with a unique skin that is only available on this weapon. In this case, it's another bright gold paint job that covers the majority of the weapon with a few black details around the fixtures. Basically, another gold weapon to add to the collection of Drug Lord inspired guns. Now the Valkyria is also a weapon that can be crafted using a high-end blueprint that you can purchase from the DZ03 safe room in the Dark Zone. You'll need to be Dark Zone rank 90 in order to buy it, and at this current moment in time, this weapon alone is the one and only incentive for reaching that milestone. Of course, as is always the way, the weapon you craft will fall within the damage ranges you see on screen, and the final results will vary from person to person, but if we take a look at the stripped down version of the weapon that I have, no mods applied, it has an above average accuracy, a relatively fast reload speed, a pretty low effective range, and the stability, despite what the bar says, is relatively easy to manage even without mods. As for the stats, this has a base damage value of 7,806, it can fire 825 rounds per minute and has a base magazine size of 32. Also, being a submachine gun, it comes with a natural critical hit chance bonus, and in this case that sits at 24%. Now do bear in mind that the stats you see here will likely vary if you have one of these yourself, and similarly these values can then be altered and improved with mods and your attribute distribution. But for the purposes of this video, this is the build that I'm working with, and should you want to unlock all the talents together, then the Valkyria becomes a very skill power focused weapon. Speaking of which, the other thing that is unique about these named high-end weapons is that they have a fixed set of weapon talents. The Valkyria has 3, 2 of which need to be unlocked, one of which is active at all times. The active talent is Responsive, where damage is increased by 13.5% when closer than 10 meters to the target, and generally speaking this isn't a bad skill for the SMG, but it is somewhat questionable on this particular one given the attribute priority that it promotes. Moving on from there, you have Competent, where weapon damage is increased by 13.5% for 10 seconds after using a skill, and this requires 1,547 points in firearms and 2,063 points in electronics. If we test that in the firing range, you can see that a regular body shot does 8,860 damage, but if I then pop my first aid skill, that jumps to 10,055. Note that I use the healing skill and not a skill that amplifies my damage. Finally, you have Determined, where killing a target reduces skill cooldowns by 9%, and this one requires 2,063 points in firearms, 2,579 points in electronics. And pair this with the fact that you will likely already have fast skill cooldowns if you have high enough skill power to unlock this talent, then you have a recipe for some pretty efficient skill uptime. So, with the talents out of the way, let's run some quick tests in the firing range. Again, using this weapon with no mods applied, and firing this from the weapon's optimal range. A critical headshot deals 16,612 damage, while a regular headshot deals 13,290 damage. A critical body shot deals 11,075 damage, and finally a regular body shot deals 8,860 damage. And after emptying a complete magazine, your reload speed comes in at just over 2 seconds. Now that we've taken a look at the weapon stats, talents and some basic firing range damage numbers, let's run a quick field test with this weapon in a controlled environment. We're going to run through the very first room on the Madison Field Hospital mission on hard mode. The first room has a total of 5 enemies, and we're again going to be using the weapon with no mods applied. The timer starts from the second I set foot through the door, and after running the same room back to back 5 times, the average clear time comes in at around 34 seconds, and if we compare that to a similar weapon in the same class, the Midas came in at 32 seconds. So, having now taken a look at the weapon and what it can do, the question is, what is it good for and is it worth it? And the long and short answer is no. Definitely not. Not only is this not a very good weapon to begin with, but it also requires that you be Dark Zone rank 90. That is a serious time investment, and given that at this current moment in time there is no other reason to hit rank 90, you are literally ranking up for this and this alone. However, putting that aside for a moment, once again the Valkyria suffers from the same problem that all these named high-end weapons do. The fixed talents just aren't appealing enough, and there's nothing unique that makes these weapons stand out. Ideally, at some point in the future, they're going to need a bespoke weapon talent that you can't get anywhere else, and maybe then they'll be viable. But for the time being, if you're looking for an SMG, then you're better off picking up a tactical AUG or first wave vector blueprint when they come around in the DZ03 vendor. and then crafting them until you get some useful talents. In fact, even a crafted AUG or first wave vector with bad talents would be a better choice over this. Anyway, that's it for this video, and that's it for this weapon review. There are a couple of other weapons I still haven't reviewed, namely the Cassidy and the Pacan, but given that they are no longer at the top of the gear score bracket, they're fast becoming irrelevant for the majority. So unless you really want me to review them, I'll likely wait it out for the Historian or begin moving on to some of the unnamed offerings. Either way, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, then a like would be super appreciated, and comment down below and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.